Presentation today will be basically about two systems and a bunch of tokens, two systems that will interact with each other. So on one hand, we have DutchX, which basically is a decentralized exchange, and I will give a short overview of how it works. And then the other one is a DAO. Here, just as a side note, I will come back to this once in a while. So in all of those systems, there are all those 4 tokens involved, and in addition, we have reputation, which is not a token. I will kind of mention the tokens like one time up front, but I of course will go back to them. And I think the main topic of today would be why all those tokens, what are the individual goals of those tokens, how are they designed, and kind of specifically what patterns can we see. I think all of those tokens have some or there are clear analogies to things we already know. So I think there's this concept of a membership token, a payment token, a discount thing, but we will explore that during the time. So Gnosis, when we started Gnosis and we started thinking about the to do a token that was already in early 2016, so quite a while back, when token sales were not a big thing at all. Back then there were like maybe 5 or 6 just happened until then. So the very initial idea of Gnosis tokens was to build a membership token. So something like if you are participating in funding it, and you are a member in a way, you have a membership token, then you can use it for free. So you just need to hold this token, you can use it for free because you already paid. We introduced a second token, this OWL token, which is then used to actually pay fee. So in a way, it's kind of metering the amount or the how much you can use your GNO. So you have GNO. It constantly generates those fee credits, and in that sense, we still have the initial premise. You once buy the GNO, you constantly can generate some OWL, and in that sense, you can then use the OWL and burn it, or you burn it when you use it, and in that sense, you can still use the stuff for free, but only up to a specific amount, or basically dependent on how much OWL it generates. Of course.
I was assuming that OWL was there because you wanted to have all your actors in the ecosystem using Node, so not holding it, but using it. But actually, it was more about the identity.
GNO, well, you can say if you are generating OWL with it, you are using it. But in the end, it was to say, in the end, it was about, the initial idea was, again, you have GNO and you can use it for free, but then again, we needed to have some form of, you can't use it with, you have some restrictions on how much you can use it, and that is measured in OWL. But of course, the idea is the ideas, of course, that the users of the system, they should have an interest in holding, and if you want, use GNO. So those two tokens are a little bit outside of they play a small role, or specifically OWL plays a role in the Dutch exchange, but those are basically our company tokens, and we do a bunch of things. We do a wallet, we do an exchange, we do prediction markets, and wherever there's a fee, OWL will always be used. So kind of the main focus of this presentation will be on those two, actually. But still, since they play a role, I wanted to give this as an intro. So Dutch exchange. What is the Dutch exchange? or it's the DutchX. It is a trading protocol. A trading protocol for ERC20 tokens on Ethereum. But the novel thing is that it uses auction mechanisms. So most trading protocols that you might be familiar with use like simple limit orders or continuous double auction, to be precise. And as soon as a new order comes in and it overlaps, well, then you find a price. So this is a continuous double auction. And that has been tried, or that people are using that for DEXs, for decentralized exchanges. But there are a bunch of issues with this model applied for decentralized exchanges. And roughly, I think the main reason is that, or one of the main reasons are there's this front-running issue. Just to get an understanding, who has heard of or who's aware of the front-running issue of decentralized exchanges? Okay, so one issue is that if you submit your order, it's broadcasted on the blockchain, and that means anyone can see it already, but it's not yet executed. So if I say, okay, I want to buy a lot of tokens, whatever token A, then potentially my order or this information already moves the price up. I buy a lot, so it moves the price up. But the issue is, in a decentralized world, I broadcast this order so anyone can see it and act on that information already. So you can jump in before and say, well, you can just add a transaction with higher transaction fees and already buy some of those token A at a still cheaper price, and immediately after sell it to me at the higher price. And you can specifically effectively do that if you're a miner. Long story short is the Dutch auction works different and tries to address those problems. So the Dutch exchange tries to solve this issue by using auctions. The other issue here is that it costs you on a decentralized exchange. It usually costs you to create an order. So even something that normally on centralized exchanges everyone is used to, that it is free. Creating an order usually doesn't cost you anything, just if it's matched. If you would directly build this on Ethereum, then even placing an order is still a transaction, still costs gas. There's costs with that, and because there are costs with it, that means that market making is just much more expensive. So usually, or so far, the decentralized exchanges that we have seen have very low liquidity, high spreads. Let's say I want to sell token A, and maybe also a bunch of others want to sell token A. Then all of us, we are submitting token A's to the contract, and I put in 5, you put in 10, you put in 15. So in total, we have then like 55 tokens A that are kind of that all of us we want to sell, and they are all bundled together. And now an auction starts. And it's called a Dutch auction, where the auction is trying to sell those tokens, and it starts at a high price. High price is here defined as double the previous price, or in other words, double the market price. And this price continuously falls down. So it kind of tries to sell for the highest price. No one wants to buy, so it goes down and down the price. And over time, and those are hours. So after 6 hours, it reaches the previous price. That is roughly the market price. Over time, bidders that say, okay, I want to buy those tokens A, they can submit their bid. And if you would submit your bid here, then the point in time where you submit your bid defines the price. So basically, at this point, you're saying, well, I'm okay with this price. I submit let's say, five Ether, and the price then continues to get, it continues to get cheaper. There are more and more bidders. At some point, there are enough bidders to buy all the tokens. And then the auction is cleared, and we have a single clearing price. So everyone who participated, either as a seller or as a bidder, they all get the same price. So even if you like as a bidder participated here and you were willing to even buy at this higher price, you will still get the kind of, from your perspective, the better price. So the advantages of this mechanism are they don't have an issue with front running, and they because it's kind of such a slow process, and that's by the way the big disadvantage. It takes quite a long time to trade, but the advantage is here that it can has enough time to come up with enough liquidity. And something we did recently, or we are doing we did already 4 larger auctions, and we're doing 6 more, is 1 million DAI challenge. So we are doing in total 10 auctions, and we wanted to demonstrate that via this process it is possible to sell currently $100,000 worth of DAI in one auction. And if you think about it, that's basically like putting a $100,000 market order into an exchange. And currently, there's no decentralized exchange whatsoever that could handle a $100,000 market order without moving the price easily by 5 to 10%, because there's not just not enough liquidity. Here, we demonstrated that we could place a $100,000 market order, and over time the market absorbed order by moving the price just less than 2%, which is quite a good start, I would say, and we hope to reduce this number, of course, further. So roughly clear. Okay, cool. Then I guess I did already a bit of this discussion. We kind of wouldn't make a statement whether that is better or not. It's trade-off. So it's very slow. That's a big disadvantage. The advantages are front-running resistant, completely decentralized. There's no, all of that runs completely on smart contracts. There's no operator or relayer or whatsoever. We think it's a good price-finding mechanism, specifically for tokens that are not so liquid. So now we are coming to a token that was specifically designed for that for that protocol, and that is the Magnolia token. And in a way, it's something that is fairly common in centralized exchanges as well. So in what is a pretty normal thing in centralized exchanges, that you start with some fee rate, let's say 0.5%, and if you have a specific trading volume, it reduces your fee rate, sometimes all the way down to 0 or to, I mean, I guess most people know that from exchanges. Yes, no, maybe. Okay. So that is exactly what we did with the Magnolia token. So every time you trade on this exchange, and specifically you trade 1 Ether worth of something, so either directly 1 Ether or corresponding amount in tokens, a new Magnolia token will be generated or minted. So there's an unlimited amount. There will always, as people trade, some more and more will be generated. And what it does is it reduces your fee, or more specifically, the liquidity contribution, how it's called. So the more you have of those Magnolia tokens, the lower is your liquidity contribution, and it's not but it's not the absolute amount of Magnolia, because I mean, if they are like always generated more and more. So over time, then anyone would pay the lowest fee. Instead, it's your relative amount. So if you hold 10% of all Magnolia tokens, then you have the absolute lowest fee. If you hold 1% of all Magnolia, then you are like one step above that. If you hold 0.1%, you are like even one step above 0.01, and so on. In total, they're just 4 steps. So in the end, the Magnolia token is, of course, a token to incentivize specifically market makers, because they then pay the lowest fee, which, or more specifically, they even get the fee or get some fees, the way they pay a negative fee, because in the system of the Dutch exchange, all the fees that are taken are distributed among the other traders. That means effectively, if all of you, or if all of you pay the highest fee and all of you pay a lower fee, then it's all put into the same pot, and then it's equally distributed to everyone. That means all of those are effectively getting more than they are paying, and those are paying. So in the end, large Magnolia holders, if they continue to trade, receive fees. Does it make sense? Please, if there are questions, or if there are, just ask. One thing I want to highlight is we could have chosen a design where as a Magnolia holder you passively earn a fee, so you could have an ownership or some token where, simplest one is you have something like an ownership token, and those who have it just get, if you have 5%, you get 5% of the fees. The Magnolia token is similar to that, but still different. So to get the fees, you need to constantly participate. So if you don't participate, you don't passively get the fees, but if you constantly participate, you effectively get fees.
How do you track this constantly?
Right. So in one auction, the fees are distributed to everyone within the auction. So you always by default only get something if you participate. And the way you are getting a net benefit is by just having a very low rate you have to pay into the pot, but you will get something out of the pot. But you never get something out of the pot if you don't trade.
Yeah, okay. Right. But my understanding was, just imagine in month 1 you are trading a lot, and in month 2 you don't do. Then you keep the same amount of Magnolia from month 1. So they don't disappear. It's just you can't increase the amount.
Right. So I mean, if you do nothing with them, first you don't get any fees, because you only get something if you participate. But also your Magnolias will be in a way diluted away, because there are always continuously new ones minted, and your fee rate in the end depends on your percentage of how much Magnolia you have of the total supply. So if you have 10% and you don't trade, then you of course over time will only have 5%, and then
Is it the Magnolia of the auction? If we both in the auction, and she got 50% and I got 50%, is it
No,
right? Or is it from the whole?
Right, it's from the whole. So it's from the whole system. So you will have if you trade only a specific token and you build up a lot of Magnolia, you will also have a slight advantage. Yeah, so it's a global score.
I'm a seller, so I want, for example, a fixed amount of my tokens, and I participate within the auction, and then after the 6 hours the price is not fitting with what I'm expecting. Can I withdraw, or I'm
No.
forced to stay?
Yeah. you can't withdraw. So you so if you sell, if you commit here to sell tokens, then the price will continue to drop until there are enough buyers. And even if, so in theory, the price could drop all the way to zero. After 24 hours, it will hit zero. The thing you can do in theory is participate yourself as a buyer. So I mean, basically buy back your own tokens if the price goes too low. I mean, in the end, our answer is, of course, we try hard to bring enough liquidity, and we to make sure early enough, or basically when it hit market price, that there are enough buyers. The big advantage is that it is a credible commitment if you're selling here. So our thinking is, as a market maker, you have if someone sells here, then you have a guarantee that this demand for selling will come. So the market maker can already start trading on other exchanges and kind of have the guarantee that this will definitely come, and the user can't just cancel it. So we would say there are advantages by making it not possible to cancel. So we can't currently trade security tokens here, or basically we don't have the we don't have any additional we don't do KYC, we don't do those things. I think it is possible to build kind of stuff around it and have something like an operator that would make sure that those requirements are fulfilled. But currently, we would say, well, you can't trade security tokens here. However, the protocol itself is still open and permissionless. So it's a set of smart contracts, and anyone can list or add their tokens there. There's no operator or something like that. So in the end, it's up to those who adds a token to make sure it's in a way their responsibility whether the token is a security or not. We are not running the contract. I mean, we developed the contract, but there is nothing. We have no role. We have no role whatsoever in operating, or we have no. We don't have kind of special upgrade rights, or we don't. I mean, there is. In other decentralized exchanges, there is this role of relayer, or there is some kind of special role why someone has more rights than others. This is not the case at all. So we don't have any extra permission or extra role in this exchange. We have, or actually not we, but there are. I think we have to distinguish two things. So one is the smart contracts, and we would say it's an open protocol. Like Ethereum, and people can do with this protocol whatever they want. On top of it, there are websites that are operated, and I can maybe show. I mean, I can show you the front end how that trading looks like. This is something we can do right now.
Switch to the
demo, maybe,
yes.
But I can also do it later. Right?
Whatever you want to.
I mean, you can. Let's shortly show it. I mean, okay. Sometimes. So distinguish two things. So one is the protocol itself, but the other one is a website. And we have actually, a website which obviously has an operator or someone hosting it. And on this website, of course, we have, it's a company we are closely related with, and of course this website has its own rules. So I'm just making this distinction between the protocol itself. There are different interfaces to this protocol, and those interfaces, those websites, they are centrally hosted, and of course the operator of this website, they have the legal obligations. And for example, I know this operator would never. They have their own whitelist. They only show specific tokens, although in the contract anyone could add any tokens, but they of course make sure that they only list non-security tokens here. And actually they geo-block some countries and make sure they meet all the legal requirements. So I mean, just to show it shortly, I can kind of just specify here what token I want to deposit and what token I want to receive, or what token I want to sell and what token I want to receive. I just specify now I want to deposit Ether and receive DAO stack tokens or Gen tokens, which will also play a small role here if we go further. Yeah, and then I submit that yeah, 0. I can shortly do this. Yeah, it's asked me to prove. But yeah, I mean those are just you can try it out if you want. Slow.trade is the website you need. Just MetaMask or any other Web3 wallet. And just to then there's second transaction, first transaction I need to approve. Yeah, and that's it. So here, by the way, you can see what I described. So I participated with Ether. I do have some OWL tokens. So those tokens. So I could use them to pay half of my liquidity contribution. You can, in this protocol, you can use. With this, you can reduce your fee. With this, you can pay to half of the fee. That's what I just did. And now I just see that the auction has not yet started. And now I see, auction will start soon, run for roughly 6 hours. And after it's over, then I can, of course, claim whatever. The amount of Gen, how much I get, that's, of course, flexible and depends on the final clearing price. Maybe just to show you the other side of it. So that was how you participate. We call it as a seller. So kind of upfront before the auction. During the auction, when the price is falling down, that's a different website or a different project called fairDEX, but they created an interface to participate during the auction. And here you're seeing the auctions that are currently running or currently live. And you see here always the current price, and this price will basically, if you would watch it, it would fall down every 30 seconds or something like that. And it says, what's the previous closing price and how much volume is needed right now to end the auction. When is it estimated to end? So this is 40 minutes, in 1 hour 28, 2 hour 45. And so on. And I could bid here. Say I would. I need to deposit first, but I could bid here.
So this is the buyer side.
Yes, exactly. Bidder, buyer, yeah.
How is the starting price actually set?
Mm-hmm. So the starting price is 2 times the previous price, 2 times the previous clearing price. From the first price, or can we switch back to the presentation? Sorry, if you add the token the first time, then whoever adds it has to define it, and we have some. There is some small issue here, so someone could DDoS the system and add a token at a completely too low price, for example. And then because kind of per token, we only have, there's always only one auction running per token. So if you would start it at a too low price, you kind of no one would start to fund or start to put money into the next auction. So that's why by the first auction you have to put up $10,000, at least $10,000 worth of token. So it's at least so then you have a high incentive to not define a very low price, because then you are selling 10,000 at a too low price. So
how's then the price curve defined? So is it random or?
Yeah, the price curve is predefined. It's a 1 divided by n formula. It's a I don't know by heart the formula, but roughly 1 divided by n plus some offset. But it was really this function you saw. It's exactly this function here. Yeah, this function that falls quite sharply in the beginning and then kind of becomes somewhat linear and goes all the way. After 24 hours, it hits 0. After 6 hours, it hits the previous price and starts again. It's double the previous price.
So in this model, wouldn't it be, if I wanted to game the system,
Sure.
I would want to wait as long as possible to actually buy.
Absolutely.
So the coordinated.
Exactly. So if everyone, if you somehow could manage to prevent anyone on Ethereum to stop using this auction, of course, then the price would fall down all the way. But of course, the idea is you can't. I mean, that's our hope, that you can't coordinate everyone in Ethereum. And even if you could, if you kind of would agree within this room that everyone, or let's say only this room could participate for some reason, the incentive for anyone individually to cheat. So let's say we all agree to wait until here. The incentive for me to bid like just 5 minutes earlier is very high, because then I can buy everything at this low price. So if I start doing that, you get maybe you do even earlier and earlier and earlier, and so in the end we believe that such a collusion, because it's completely open, anyone in Ethereum can participate. It's fairly slow. We believe that kind of collusion is not possible, but we'll see.
I have another question actually.
Sure.
What are the use cases for
Yeah. So the use cases are trading tokens, obviously. So and specifically, I would say tokens that are not super liquid. So if you look at the 200 or no, not 200, 500 top list tokens on CoinMarketCap, maybe the top 10 or maybe the top 15 are kind of liquid enough that you could actually sell, let's say 20, 50,000 worth of token relatively easy, like just because there are exchanges, there's enough volume. Below that, most of the trading volume per trade is very, if you trade more than $1,000 worth of a token, you have already slippage. So what happens in fact is that a lot of those tokens are then traded just OTC. So people trading larger amounts, they call OTC traders. And we think that this is a good alternative to OTC trading. So you make this public commitment that you selling, let's say, 50,000 worth of some semi-random token, and it gives the market a lot of, or like all traders, a lot of time, actually 6 hours, and they see it coming all the way, and they can already start, either calling other OTC traders or start bidding on different exchanges. So that's one answer, alternative to OTC trading. But also if there's an order book as a smart contract, you can't easily have a strategy, look at the price and compare it and so on. So you want to have this simple mechanism where you dump the token into and then let the mechanism find a fair price. And in the end, you get the token back that you wanted. And also as a smart contract, 6 hours might not be a long time for you because you live forever anyway. So, yeah.